Gamers! Hello, Master Duel Central. How's it going, guys? So I've been playing some Sword Soul. They've actually been doing quite good for me. We're almost on rank up, so I figured, you know what? Let's make a little video about Sword Soul. Now, I was strongly inspired by Pack TCG recently. So if you've seen his videos, he's basically been running 3 Protoss, and I'm not doing that because I kind of want to keep my UR dust for when the next box comes out. I still think even with 1 Protoss, this deck is really incredible in the current format. Instead, and my build is actually quite different from Pack. There's a couple things I just don't really agree with, or that I just felt I had like tech options I preferred for me personally. I think Cerberus is pretty much a must play in this deck at the moment because Bagooska is super popular, and usually if people set up Bagooska turn 1, you don't really have a good way of playing around it unless you specifically get into like your Tenyis. So if you don't get into your Tenyis, Bagooska gets really hard to deal with. But like, let's say you can get 2 bodies on the field with like, say, like an Ecclesia and a Sword Soul. Worst case scenario, you can make a Cerb and at least get rid of the Bagooska, and then it's going to be hand dependent, which you can do from there. So I've been really enjoying having Cerb in the deck. As for Nightmare Phoenix, I might end up removing this. I had someone in my Discord actually mentioning Shen Shen, and Shen Shen is very playable in this deck, and this is actually a really good card also against Tearlaments. So you could technically, I could potentially replace the Phoenix for a Shen Shen. I'm running Phoenix for like those, you know, those like Floodgate decks and stuff like that. The thing is, our deck is not that bad at playing through like macro decks because usually they don't have that much steam and they don't have that much that they do. And our deck does have like really good trigger effects off of getting banished. So like if they set up a macro and you really don't want it to be there, you can always just go like Vishta on what like their Dimensional Fissure or their macro or their Necro Valley or whatever. So it's really not too bad. But overall, man, I'm loving Sword Soul. I'm having a good time with Sword Soul right now. I think I might actually finish my climb to Diamond 1 with Sword Soul this format because it's really good. Look at all these hand traps, bro. This deck can play so many hand traps. The name of the game, as Pack said, is basically activating as many hand traps as you can so that you can just stuff your graveyard and then summon Protoss on the following turn or even on turn 1. I actually have a really cool replay where I was bricked on hand traps, but I figured out a way to get them out of my hand so that I could at least summon a Protoss. So I have a lot to show you guys. We're going to go into some replays and then some live gameplay as I like to do, and then we'll do the card by card at the end of the video if you don't already know what the Sword Soul card by card is by now. But anyway, let's get into the gameplay, guys. All right, guys, so for this first one here, I'm not going to show the full replay because I actually have quite a few I want to show, and I don't want the video to be too long, but I just want to show this cool tech I did at the start of the game here to at least be able to do a Protoss. You can see we're very bricked up here. We have a Vishta, a Adara, 2 Maxi, and an Ashe, which like means we would have to pass basically on like a Xishao Baron at best. We couldn't even do actually Xishao Baron because we had to use our normal summon on Adara. We would get like a blackout Xishao. That'd be like our best board here. But what I do is I go get the Emergence and I'm like, you know what? I have a way to set up Protoss. It's not pretty, but it is a way to set it up. So basically, here's what we do. We go Maxi effect, and then we just Ashe our own Maxi turn 1. And the reason I did this is because, yes, I would have still been able to summon the Protoss, but if I didn't do this, to summon the Protoss, I would have had to banish my Grandmaster Xishao because I already had 1 Earth in the grave in the form of Adara, and Maxi is Earth, right? So just going Maxi would not have been enough. So I went Maxi, Ashe my own Maxi, just so I can summon a Protoss, and we still have Maxi in hand for next turn. So that's why I was like really, really proud of this play. I thought I was really big brain for it. Maybe it's not that big brain, but I don't know. I just felt really cool. Declare Dark, you know, all that stuff. So just a cool little tech. If you guys are ever bricked up on hand traps, maybe consider activating Maxi, and if you have Maxi Ashe, maybe even ashing your own Maxi, just as a way to get some bodies in the grave, because that really is the game plan with Protoss. Anyway, got a lot of replays to show you, so let's get into the more fancy ones. All right, this one's a little more funky. It's a little goofy because we go Maxi, we're going second, but we have Maxi in hand, and this is against Sprite. After this, I'm going to show you a replay against Tearlament, like the more basic stuff. But this is just a really funky one, so I had to show it off. So we have Maxi. We're going second. Our opponent is on Sprite. They normal summon Jet, so we go Maxi, right? So they're going to go for Triple Tactics Talent. They opt to draw 2 cards, which is interesting. They're taking the challenge. They are just taking the challenge. So summoning a bunch of monsters here. You know, the just regular Sprite stuff. Nothing too special here. We're drawing a bunch. They're going to go for Gigantic Sprite here. Now, I only have Effect Veiler as a hand trap, unfortunately, so I'm going to try to negate it just to waste their red in case I draw into another copy of Veiler later. That might be useful. Then they're going to go into Elf. So Elf is on the field here. We draw into Ash Blossom, and with Elf, they special summon the Swamp Frog. They're going to go Swamp Frog effect. I should have probably... The thing is, I didn't have Veiler. I drew Veiler after they summoned Swamp Frog, so I decided to negate the Sprite Elf here. This is kind of maybe weird. The reason I did this is just in case they summon like another... Like I drew into another Veiler, and they were trying to protect, let's say, their Melfi with the targeting protection of Elf. I just wanted to turn off that targeting protection. So that's why I negated Elf here. A little goofy looking, but I mean, we're playing with Maxi here. Like, we have too many cards. So, you know, anything helps. Anyway, they went into IP Masquerena here, and I'm not too worried at this point because we have Ash, and they already used their red, so they won't even be able to negate Ash once they go into Melfi. They go into Melfi here. They activate the effect of Melfi of the Forest. Of course, we're going to negate the Melfi of the Forest. And at this point, they just passed turn. Obviously, like, they took the Maxi challenge. So we have a bunch of cards. But there is something interesting going on here. So we're going to go for our long one. They're going to go for Sprite Elf. And we're actually going to chain Maxi to the effect of Sprite Elf. Then they're going to go Ash, and they're going to go Maxi. So now we're playing under Maxi. And they're going to go for the effect of IP Masquerena so that we, well... Basically, they could have done this anyway, but whatever. So they're going to go for IP Masquerena, and they're going to make it an Avramax. Now, Avramax is actually really easy to out in Sword Soul. But there is one thing I'm worried about, which is Nibiru, because I do want to go for game this turn. With blue, they're actually going to search a Pixies. So I'm going to summon a Supreme Sovereign here, do a little bit of burn damage. We're going to activate Pot of Desires, banishing 10 to draw 2. They're going to negate the Pot of Desires, but the thing is, I didn't really care if this got negated, because like I had plenty of cards in hand. I just wanted a quick way to proc the effect of Pot of Desires and just banish Avramax off the field to not have to think about it. Maybe kind of a weird play, but I didn't really care for drawing 2, because I mean, look at this hand. Like, we don't really need it. So anyway, Sovereign effect here to get rid of the Avramax and banishing the IP from the grave. Now, here's my smart play. I'm starting to get worried about Nibiru, because if I want to go for game, I have to play into Nibiru at this point, because I decided to go Sovereign, because Baron cannot out the Avramax. So because I had to go into Sovereign, we don't really have access to another level 10 Synchro at the moment. So I special summon out the Ecclesia while they still control more monster than me. And I go for Sword Soul Emergence since I'm controlling a Synchro. And we get Protoss. Now the thing about Protoss is Protoss can actually stop Nibiru. If there's a light monster on the field, you can declare light on Protoss, and it's going to stop your opponent from being able to summon Nibiru, but it's also going to stop you from being able to special summon light monsters. So the reason I summon Ecclesia here is so that I could go Protoss effect, chain Ecclesia. So basically you need a light monster on the field to be able to declare a light with Protoss. So I go Protoss, declare a light while Ecclesia is on the field. Then I chain the Ecclesia to actually get her effect, and like, I'm not losing anything, you know? And now, well, we basically get to lock out Nibiru. They're going to activate DD Crow on Ecclesia for no reason. It's kind of goofy, but whatever. Either way, we get to special summon out Taya. Taya is going to banish the Sword Soul Emergence. Sword Soul Emergence, I'm going to change the level of Taya to go into Yahtzee, Evil of the Yangzing. The reason I do this is just because I can't go into my light synchros, and I'm kind of low on non-light options. So that's why I decided, you know, I just want big bodies to be able to go for game. I was kind of like BMing a little bit, I realized after, but it is what it is. Here I'm going to activate Vishido while I control a token to get rid of the Melfi and go into battle phase. Now, I didn't realize that the Pixies was not going to match the attack, so that's why I didn't go into another Synchro. Not that I needed to. I mean, at this point, I was just BMing. But basically, like, I was like, okay, I'm going to go crash the Moye into the Carrot, and they're going to go Pixies. But the thing is, because of the effect of Supreme Sovereign Cheng-Ying, it actually lowers the attack of Carrot, even if after she gains the attack from the Pixies. So I didn't know that, but that was pretty interesting. But anyway, obviously, now we just go for game. And I mean, this isn't, like, the most impressive victory ever, because obviously, like, my opponent had to take a Maxi challenge going first, so I had, like, infinite gas to play with. But I did find it kind of interesting, that little interaction to play around Nibiru, so I thought I would show you that just to kind of give you like a cool little tip. If you want to play around Nibiru, you can always just go Protoss effect to declare light while Ecclesia's on the field, and then chain Ecclesia to get advantage off of it anyway. So yeah, pretty neat. And now I'm going to just do like a regular like replay against Tyr, and then we'll go to the rank up game. All right, so for this last replay here, we're just going to be playing against Tearlaments and going first, just doing your basic setup. Just in case that the game I record is not like a good depiction of your average typical game in ladder. This is like your basic game plan, right? Like basic stuff. So pretty good hand here. We have some Ecclesia, so we're going to go Ecclesia into Moye. Moye reveal Vish so we can get ourselves a token. Then I'm actually, okay, this is kind of dumb. I'm just playing into Nib here. What I should have done is probably just go for long one first. Like, before I even go for Ecclesia, I should have probably just went long one, make Baron, so that we're under, like, 5 summons before I do the rest of my combo with the Ecclesia and stuff. So, kind of a bad move, I guess, but whatever. I did what I did. Either way, when I summon long one, our opponent goes for Kelbeck here and bounces our long one. So, I'm, like, actually happy about this. The reason I'm happy about this is because when I see Kelbeck, I'm like, oh, so we're playing against Tyr. Like, obviously, there's, like, maybe 2 or 3 other decks that run Millers, but like 99.9% of the time, if you're seeing Kelbeck, you can pretty much tell that it's Tyr. So now I know, okay, game plan, set up Protoss, and we basically win the game, right? So here we go. Get to draw with Moye and search with Xishou. We search the Sword Soul Emergence, get ourselves a Protoss. We already have 3 different attributes in the grave, so we'll banish all 3, special summon Protoss, activate its effect, set the blackout. This is as standard as it gets. The only thing that would have been different is if they didn't have Kelbeck, I would also have a level 10 Synchro. But honestly, since I know that it's Tearlament, because they told me basically that it's Tearlament when they activated Kelbeck, I was like not even scared like at all. I was like, oh, okay, so I set up Protoss and I just win here, especially since I had Blackout in hand. So they're going to go for Rhinoheart. We're actually going to Ash the Rhinoheart here just so, because, okay, the reason I Ash Rhinoheart, I do want to explain this. A lot of tier players are playing King of the Swamp, and if they went King of the Swamp, well, not King of the Swamp, but if they sent like a Havness or like any Tearlament princess to the grave and then used their effect and fused with King of the Swamp, they could have went into Rule Kalos, since Rule Kalos is a water, and Rule Kalos could at least beat over Xishou. So I was kind of trying to play around that, but honestly, like, it's kind of a weird play. Then I decide to use my Blackout. The reason I go Blackout here, even though it's going to trigger the Rhinoheart, which is really risky, and I probably should have thought of that, I just really didn't want them to go into an Xyz play because they could have set up a Zeus. So I thought it was more important to play around Zeus. And if they get into like a Rule Kalos is not as big of a deal as Zeus. Zeus is actually game winning. Thankfully, they didn't have a Tyr in hand, so they just sent another Rhinoheart to the graveyard from their hand, and I was like, oh, okay, easy W, right? So yeah, like pretty average game against Tyr with the Sword Souls. You know, that's basically what they're going to look like when you're doing good against Tearlaments. Obviously, that doesn't mean you'll win every single time, but we do have a really good matchup against Tyr for the most part, especially if we're going first. If we're going second, you do kind of need your hand traps and stuff, which, I mean, we're running a shit ton. Anyway, let's get into some live gameplay. We're going to go try to rank up. All right, 1 game to get to Diamond 3. I ranked all the way back down to Diamond 5 when I was trying to play Dinos. Then I actually went on a 5-game win streak to Diamond 4 with the Dinos today. And then I was like, you know what? I kind of miss a Sword Soul. I wanted to play some Sword Soul and Ladder. Oh man, we lost a coin flip. Hopefully we get some of our hand traps here. We are playing Sword Soul. Usually Sword Soul draws every hand trap they need. But when I'm recording, I'm usually not as lucky as when I'm off camera. So we'll see what happens here. We got Maxi Veiler. That's pretty great. I can't really complain about that. But maybe we're playing against Floowandereeze. I mean, sometimes it's a lot of anti-meta in the ladder. So, oh, it's Exo Sisters. Okay, Exo Sisters is fine. Let's go for Maxi here. Let's go for Maxi. If we can just stop them from playing altogether, I'll be happy with that. I'll take it. Oh, they had the called by for the Maxi. That's really good. So our next move is most likely going to be to negate Caspitel, their first summon. So that Caspitel can't search anything. We really want that Veiler to go through. And we don't want them to have too much gas either. So they're going to go Martha here. Martha, special summon. Get to special summon a Exo Sister from the deck. And hopefully here, they're most likely going to go into Caspitel. I don't like that they got a chainable there because, yeah, maybe I should have turned this off because now they know that I have like an Imperm or a Veiler. Okay, here's Caspitel. Let's turn this back to auto. All right, they're going for the search effect here. Going to detach. Yeah, that's good. So we're going to go Veiler, of course. And if they have the second called by, I mean, they really deserve to win this game. You know what I mean? Like, if they had the second called by, what am I supposed to say? Okay, Veiler goes through. That's good. That's good. So now it's a question of how much gas or set cards they have left. Because Exo Sister trap cards are really, really solid. Vadis is especially scary. So that's 1 set. And a Mudora. Okay, Mudora is not a problem. Mudora is fine. And 2 sets. Okay. 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 So let's see. A little bit of Heart of the Cards would be nice here. Our hand is not garbage, but it would be nice. Oh, you know, I really like that. I really like that, actually. If we can just get this Exo Sister monster off the field, they can't activate their trap cards. So we're going to try to go for a Vishta. Let's go Monk of the Tenyi. It's going to be a little scuffed. Okay, they're going for Pax here. That's kind of annoying. Yeah, okay. That's okay. We're just going to go for Heavenly Dragon Circle here. We're going to activate Heavenly Dragon Circle, get rid of Monk of the Tenyi. So the play becomes a little bit different. So let's go Vishta. So we're going to special the Vishta here. Oh man, this is a little bit weird. Okay, they get to special Martha. All right, a little bit tough, a little bit tough. Okay, they're getting rid of our stuff in the graveyard. Kind of weird. If I was them, I would have waited until Vishta was in there. Oh no, because they want to trigger the Martha. Kind of frustrating. So far, they haven't used their back row, so I'm kind of guessing it's not Vadis, or they're being very conservative with it. A little bit of a weird game state we're in. Okay, so here they're going to use Martha to go into probably, yeah, the Michaelis. So with Michaelis, they can just banish the Vishta, unfortunately. Not doing that. Okay, they're going to go Monk of the Tenyi. Now, surely they're going to want to deal with that, right? It was Vadis. Damn. Yeah, this is looking really bad now. I don't know if this is still winnable. If we go Vishta effect... Yikes. They're going to all get their effects and get to go into XCs. Well, we have to proc them at some point anyway. So we're going to go Vishta on the Michaelis here. Just to trigger the Michaelis. Yeah, this is pretty terrifying because they're going to get their Irene and their Sophia. I really don't think this is a winnable game state. All right, yeah, so they get their Sophia Irene. They'll get to summon a bunch here. So technically, they don't get another banish this turn, right? They get Gabrine here. So this is a monster negate. And the Sophiel is... can't activate card effects in the grave. Okay. So, how do we deal with this? It might be to go for Baronne here. Because Baronne, we can beat over one of these and we can negate and destroy Gabrine. Then we only are stuck with one of them still being here. I'm not a huge fan of it. But I do think that is the play. Also, we'll get to search a Tenyi card with our token. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go Baronne here. Gonna go long one. Discard the emergence. Sorry, I know the timer is looking awful. I had to think a lot because I'm not used to seeing Exosister pop off that hard. Where they get everything. But yeah, I think this is the play. We're gonna go for Baronne to negate and destroy Gabrine. Well, we just ranked up. We just ranked up. Okay. Damn. I didn't know they would scoop it up that fast. I wasn't used to the matchup. They were very used to it. They were extremely used to that matchup. What the hell? They must have been upset. I was out here thinking for that long, trying to find a good route. And as soon as I just go long one, they just scoop it up. I kind of feel bad. I was thinking for a long time in that game. I kind of feel like an NPC for that. Do you guys want another one? We can do a bonus game. Let me just change my accessories though. I feel like an idiot every time. Like I always forget to do this stuff. Like let's just change the accessories real quick. Go on the gold field with these. And let's use this. I don't even care which ones. As long as I have accessories, people are going to stop complaining. Because when I use default field, I always hear about it. So the real ones will know that I did put on accessories for this video. And the fake ones will comment about me not having accessories. All right. If they lose a rank, and we're going second. So odds of us winning here, pretty low. But we're still going to go for it. We're going to go for it just because I want to give you guys some more, some more sensical gameplay. That game was just so weird. I was really uncomfortable with the Exosisters. I'm still going to leave it in the video. But yeah, I don't know. Usually when I face Exosisters, it is not with Sword Soul. So that was really new for me. Our hand is, I mean, we got Maxi. If it's not Floowandereeze, we're looking pretty good. Set one. I mean, if Maxi doesn't go through, then... I mean, the hand is still really... Oh, shit. Okay. It's one of those decks. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to play around Gamma because, honestly, I haven't seen anyone run Gamma in, like, over a month. Yeah, okay. Maxi goes through. I'd rather end their turn. Yeah, okay. That's good. I don't care about not drawing. Our hand is plenty good as is. I'd much rather end their turn. Also, we have Protoss. What is this hand? Oh, no. We have Protoss, Long One, Moye, and Shatana. We literally don't care about losing anything in our deck. So we're just going to go Pot of Desires here. I don't even need to think about it. Don't even need to think about it. All right, going for the Ash. That's good. We got rid of that. Don't need to think about that anymore. Okay. Yeah, I don't even think we special Shatana here, just because this is probably that trap that pops that they run. I'd rather have a discard for this in case they have an interruption for Moye, because I don't want to discard Protoss. We want to summon Protoss. We definitely want to summon Protoss. So I'm gonna go for this. I'm gonna reveal Shatana, so that my opponent thinks I'm bricked up. Okay, yeah. So it was Time Pendulum Graph. Yeah, this is the pop card. This is a really good card. Really good card. What does this do when it's popped? I don't think it does anything. All right. Well, we still get our token. That's pretty good. Then we get to special summon our Shatana and still make the synchro. I guess I'm actually a genius. All right. I'm going to go for Shatana here. And they're probably going to scoop it up. Probably going to scoop it up here. We're going to get to use these two. That's why I like Shatana. Yeah, we're definitely going to go for Shishao. I mean, no reason not to. I'm going to go for Shishao here. No reason not to. Going to just get a discard for our long one here. Doesn't really matter what we get. I'm going to get, I guess, a Taya. Yeah, get a Taya. Just to get a different attribute in the graveyard so that we can have 3. So we're going to go long one. Long one. Discard the Taya. Hey, yo, what if we get... Okay, yeah. I mean, that was just unfair, right? Like, that was your average Sword Soul hand, pretty much. All right, guys, I don't think I need to show you much more than that. I mean, the deck is obviously insane. I think Sword Soul is in a pretty good place, actually, right now. It's just got, like, a pretty good matchup with everything. This deck does decent against tier, does decent against anti-meta decks. It can run a ton of hand traps, way more hand traps than anyone else. So I really enjoy it. I'm having a good time with it right now. I kind of missed playing Sword Soul. I have not played it in a long time. And honestly, jumping back into Sword Soul has been feeling really good today. So I might actually stream this the day that it uploads. I might actually stream this a bit just over on Twitch. So there's a link to my Twitch in the description. And yeah, if you're watching this the day that it releases, maybe go follow me on Twitch, because I think I'm going to be streaming my Road to Diamond 1 with Sword Soul. I'm really enjoying the deck. Anyway, so for the card by card, if you guys don't already know what this deck is, like, we got 3 Crows, 3 Effect Veilers, 2 Adara, 3 Maxi, 3 Ash, 2 copies of Ghost Bell. If you have a third one, you can run a third one, but I've been okay with just 2. 1 copy of Shatana. You guys saw this card come up in the last duel we just had, so pretty good card, pretty good card. Also, it's useful if you want to go into Baguska. Sometimes I'll get rid of your token, and just being able to go into Baguska is really, really good. We have 3 copies of Moye, 1 copy of Taya. This is because Taya is not really a starter. You already need some kind of graveyard setup. You need a worm or a Sword Soul monster in your grave. So drawing Taya in opening hand always feels the worst out of the Sword Souls. Normally, you'll summon Taya off of Ecclesia if you already have access to your Moye going second. Also, Taya can come up if you're down bad. You can go Emergence into Taya. Taya effect, banish Emergence. You know, if you're like bricked on hand traps or something, you can banish the Emergence from your grave to go into a Synchro. So you do want to run at least 1 Taya. It's still a good card. Just like probably the worst starter in the deck. Running 3 Ecclesia. Obviously, this is just gas. 2 copies of Long One, 2 copies of Vishta, 3 copies of Ashna because it's the best Tenyi, 1 copy of Protoss. Of course, if you want to do like pack, you could run 2 or 3 even Protoss. I've been pretty happy with 1, but I'm not gonna lie, if I wasn't so stingy about my UR dust right now, I think I would run 2, not 3. I would run 2. I think this is a really, really good card, and I really like the idea of being able to get another one if they deal with 1. Solic is a permanent negate, so if they negate the Protoss, the ability to go into another one without having to recycle it using your Shaman of the Tenyi is really nice, but do keep in mind that you can do that. If they do negate it permanently, you can get it off the field with Shaman of the Tenyi and then just bring it back. So just a thing to keep in mind here. 2 copies of Pot of Desires, 3 copies of Sword Soul Emergence. Heavenly Dragon Circle is a must play. Running 2 of this card is so insane, actually. I wasn't playing this in Sword Soul before, and it's Poc. Watching Poc play, I was like, wow, I really need this card. This card is insane. This will search any worm monster from your deck just by attributing a worm, including your token. So if they ever have like a targeted negate card or a targeted destruction card or something like that, you can actually just tribute the card they targeted to get a search off of it. And if what you tributed is a normal monster like a token from Moye or something, you actually get to summon that worm monster from your deck with its effects negated. So this is another way to go into Baguska if they like have, I don't know, like if they Ghost Ogre, well, not Ghost Ogre, but if they have a way to deal with your token, worst case scenario, you can go Heavenly Dragon Circle, summon like a Taya from your deck or a Shatana, and go into Baguska if you're really down bad, or other plays open up. It depends really on the situation. It's very situational, but this card is really, really amazing in a lot of different situations. It's also good to just unbreak your hand. You know, you can go from a worm you don't want into a worm you do want, like if you get Taya when you really need a Moye, for example. We've got 1 copy of Blackout. This card is just amazing. When you have everything and you don't know what to search with Xishou, search the Blackout. It's also really good as just something you can banish out of the graveyard to get another token when they get rid of your token and you really need one. And for the extra here, we've got 1 Yahtzee. You guys saw me use this card in one of the replays. 2 copies of Baxia. This card going second is just absolutely incredible. Not once per turn, shuffle into the deck. 2 cards is just too good. 1 copy of Dragite. Pak is not running this. I like Dragite. I don't summon it often, but I like the option of having it, especially because a lot of people are playing like anti-meta decks with a lot of back row, so it's nice to have. 2 copies of Xishou, 1 copy of Chengying, 1 copy of the Longman, 1 copy of Bagooska. We've got our 2 Monk of the Tenyi, and 1 copy of Shaman of the Tenyi, and this is kind of my spice. I know Pak is on that Lina with the Serene or Celine package, and that's a good package. I don't think it's a bad package or anything. I just much prefer this package here, just because I think too many people are playing Bagooska, and Bagooska is actually really good against Sword Soul. So when people set up Bagooska, you're feeling kind of down bad, and you really need an out for Bagooska. So going to Cerberus is pretty important sometimes. As for the Phoenix, Phoenix has not come up much for me, so this might be removable, but there's really not a lot of situations where I want to make Shen Shen instead of making Xishou, so that's why I haven't really went into it. But yeah, maybe I'll remove Phoenix at some point. I'm still keeping it around for now, but yeah, this is definitely something like a flex spot, you know, like I'm not sure if I want to keep this in or not. That's the deck. I really like it. I'm definitely going to try to get to Diamond 1 with Sword Soul. I've been having a lot of fun playing Sword Soul. It's kind of refreshing, honestly. It's such a straightforward deck, so fun to play, and a lot of like the intricacies of the deck are about your knowledge of Yu-Gi-Oh, and you can feel really smart with a deck that's really simple, which is really nice. So yeah, that's gonna be for the video. Huge shout out to my Ultimate Conductor tier members. That would be Raptor Rapture, Boggerman for 20, Dad Dude Joey, B-Dubs, Hit or Miss JT, JQ the King. You guys are awesome. Thanks also to the people in the baby tier, in the miss tier, people supporting over on Twitch, and you who's liking, commenting, subscribing, maybe buying the hat. Okay, I'm sorry. Yo, the hat is fire. We also have a new t-shirt. We got a t-shirt too now. Misplay Central t-shirt and hoodie. You should check it out. All right, peace.